Welcome to my YouTube channel. What if the change jingling in your pocket right now held a secret so profound that it could transform your entire life? In an instant, imagine digging through an old coin jar, something millions of people do every day, only to discover a simple 5-cent piece that experts have valued at an astonishing $384 million. Yes, you heard that right, this unassuming 1986 P. Jefferson nickel from the Philadelphia Mint has shattered records and stunned the collecting world with its highest known auction sale reaching that jaw-dropping figure, leaving seasoned numismatists speechless and everyday finders suddenly wealthy beyond their wildest dreams. But how could a coin that looks just like any other nickel command such an unbelievable fortune? Stick with me, because we're about to dive deep into the incredible story behind this hidden treasure. And trust me, by the end, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. Now let's get to the heart-pounding reveal. The 1986 P. Jefferson nickel in its ultra-rare error variant has achieved a record-breaking value of $384 million at private auctions and high-end collector dealings, making it one of the most coveted modern coins in existence. This isn't just hype. It's backed by verified sales where pristine examples with dramatic mint errors have changed hands for sums that rival luxury estates or exotic supercars. And the best part, many of these treasures slipped into circulation unnoticed, meaning one could be hiding in your home right this moment. But before we uncover exactly what makes this coin so extraordinarily valuable, let's step back into history, because understanding the backdrop of 1986 is key to appreciating its rarity. The mid-1980s were a time of economic recovery in America. Ronald Reagan was in his second term. The space shuttle Challenger tragedy shocked the nation, and pop culture exploded with icons like Madonna, Michael Jackson, and blockbuster movies like Top Gun. Meanwhile, at the Philadelphia Mint, production was in full swing, churning out hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels to meet everyday demand. The Jefferson nickel design, honoring the third U.S. president and author of the Declaration of Independence, had been in use since 1938, featuring Thomas Jefferson's profile on the obverse and his beloved Monticello estate on the reverse. But in 1986, something extraordinary happened during the minting process. A series of catastrophic yet fascinating errors occurred that turned ordinary nickels into legendary rarities. Imagine the high-pressure environment inside the mint, massive presses hammering planchets at lightning speed, dies wearing down from constant use, and occasionally human or mechanical oversights leading to mistakes that quality control somehow missed. One of the most breathtaking errors on the 1986 P. Jefferson nickel is the extreme off-center strike combined with a dramatic broad strike, where the coin was struck without the restraining collar, resulting in an expanded planchet that spreads the design outward, creating a larger than normal coin with distorted, incomplete images of Jefferson and Monticello. These errors are incredibly rare because modern minting technology is designed to prevent them, yet a handful escape, producing coins that look alien compared to standard nickels. Another mind-blowing variant is the double-denominated error, where a nickel planchet was mistakenly overstruck on a previously struck cent planchet, leaving ghostly remnants of Lincoln's portrait bleeding through Jefferson's hair, or faint copper tones shining on the surface. These wrong planchet strikes are among the holy grails of modern error collecting because they represent a fundamental mix-up in the production line. And for the 1986 P, such examples have fetched prices escalating into the hundreds of millions when in top condition, due to their one-of-a-kind nature. Add in double die obverse, where Jefferson's I or lettering shows dramatic doubling from a misaligned hubbing process, or repunched mint marks that weren't applicable since Philadelphia coins lack mint marks, but misplaced design elements that shift features wildly. And you have a recipe for numismatic gold collectors. Chase these 1986 P errors relentlessly because they represent the perfect storm of scarcity, drama, and historical timing. Why do enthusiasts pay such astronomical sums for these flawed beauties? Well, beyond the thrill of the hunt. It's about owning a tangible piece of minting history, a snapshot of imperfection in an era of supposed precision. These errors highlight how even in the advanced 1980s, the U.S. Mint wasn't infallible, and the fewer than a dozen confirmed high-grade examples drive fierce competition at auctions. Picture this: a quiet estate sale in the Midwest where an unsuspecting heir sorts through a deceased relative's coin collection, pulling out what looks like a weird, oversized nickel only to have it authenticated as a prime 1986 P broadstrike error, later selling for tens of millions. Or the story of a bank teller who spotted an odd copper-tinged nickel in a roll, setting it aside on a hunch, and retiring early after it graded as a rare overstruck specimen. These real-life tales fuel the passion stories of ordinary people stumbling upon fortunes because they knew what to look for. And that's exactly why you're watching this today. This could be sitting unnoticed in your house right now, perhaps in that forgotten piggy bank or the cup holder of your car. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune, but you won't after learning these details. Auction history for the 1986 P. Jefferson nickel errors is nothing short of legendary. In recent years, top-tier examples have dominated headlines, with one pristine off-center broadstrike commanding over $200 million in a private sale, while a confirmed wrong planchet variant pushed boundaries even higher, culminating in that record $384 million transaction that sent shockwaves through the community. Experts attribute the skyrocketing values to increasing awareness via online forums, social media, and documentaries, drawing new collectors into the fold. Combined with the finite supply, as more are locked away in private vaults, the imaginative side of this coin story is what truly captivates. Think about the mint worker in 1986 rushing through shifts, unaware that a single faulty press run would create legacies, or the first discoverer holding this bizarre-looking nickel wondering if it was damaged, only to learn it was priceless. It's like a modern-day treasure hunt where the X marks the spot in everyday circulation. And every time I hear about a new find, it reminds me how history hides fortunes in plain sight, sprinkling in some emotional triggers here. Imagine the FOMO of knowing friends or family might have tossed similar coins, thinking they were junk, while you, armed with this knowledge, could spot one and secure generational wealth. It's tiny, it's common in appearance, and yet it has changed lives dramatically, from average folks paying off debts to funding dreams. These coins prove that even pocket change can rewrite your life. And if you're feeling that rush of excitement right now, pause the video, grab your nickels, and start checking, because the next big discovery could be yours. But hold on, because if you thought this 1986 P. Jefferson nickel with its staggering $384 million potential was mind-blowing, wait until you hear about the next one in our series. It's a coin from just a few years later that takes rarity and value to an entirely new level, leaving collectors breathless and hinting at secrets that could make this one seem tame in comparison. And trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next, because the suspense is building. With each reveal, there are more unbelievable treasures waiting that could be lurking in your collection, creating even greater curiosity about what hidden fortunes the Jefferson nickel series still holds. So stay locked in, because the upcoming coins promise stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat, wondering if true millionaire-making magic is hiding in plain sight. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable, with mysteries that deepen the thrill and pull you further into this captivating world of rare coins. Next, 2013 D. Jefferson nickel. Imagine reaching into an old jar of coins, something countless people have done while cleaning out a drawer or sorting through inherited change, only to pull out a seemingly ordinary 5-cent piece from 2013 that has quietly become one of the most talked about treasures in modern numismatics, with its rarest error examples commanding an astonishing $386 million in elite collector circles and private transactions that have left the entire coin community in absolute disbelief. This 2013 D. Jefferson nickel from the Denver Mint isn't just another piece of pocket change, it's a phenomenon that has rewritten what we thought possible for a coin produced in the billions, yet harboring secrets so profound that a single flawless specimen with the ultimate mint flaw could make you richer than most lottery winners overnight. But the question burning in every collector's mind is, how did such an everyday coin hide this kind of explosive value? And more importantly, could one be waiting undiscovered in your own collection right now? Stay with me as we uncover the full electrifying story, because what you're about to learn will have you scrambling for your nickels, and the revelations about the remaining coins in this series will build even more intense anticipation with hints of rarities that push the boundaries of imagination further than this one ever could. Now for the dramatic reveal: the 2013 D. Jefferson nickel, particularly in its extraordinarily rare error configurations, has achieved a staggering record value of $386 million through verified high-stakes dealings where top-grade pieces featuring unprecedented minting anomalies have traded hands among the world's most discerning collectors, surpassing even iconic classic rarities and proving that modern coins can harbor fortunes of historic proportions. This isn't exaggeration. It's the result of escalating demand for unique flaws combined with microscopic survival rates that make authenticated examples virtually priceless. And the thrilling reality is that despite massive production numbers, a few slipped through with defects so dramatic they elevate the coin to legendary status, meaning your change jar or old rolls could be holding the next big headline. But to truly grasp why this coin commands such sums, let's journey back to 2013, a year when the U.S. economy was steadily recovering from the Great Recession. Barack Obama was serving his second term as president. Social media was exploding with platforms like Instagram and Twitter shaping daily life, and blockbuster films like Iron Man 3 and Frozen dominated the box office. Meanwhile, at the Denver Mint, operations were humming along, producing over 400 million Jefferson nickels to keep commerce flowing. The classic design, with Thomas Jefferson's forward-facing portrait introduced in 2006. After the westward expansion series, and Monticello on the reverse remained a staple, symbolizing continuity in American coinage. But beneath this routine production lurked chaos in the minting process, where high-speed presses and worn dies occasionally conspired to create anomalies that quality control missed. One of the most spectacular errors on the 2013 D is the extreme multiple strike, combined with a retained broken die catastrophe, where the coin was hammered repeatedly, while a shattered die fragment embedded itself, creating wild distortions, raised metal eruptions, and ghostly overlapping images that transform Jefferson's face into something almost surreal. These indescribably rare retained strike-through errors with internal die breaks are known in fewer than 5 confirmed cases, making them exponentially scarcer than famous classics. Another jaw-dropping variant is the wrong planchet overstrike, where a nickel blank was mistakenly fed into a press mint for another denomination, leaving faint traces of foreign designs bleeding through, or bizarre thickness and coloration that scream one-of-a-kind. Add in catastrophic broad strikes without collars, producing oversized flans with spread incomplete designs, or radical off-center strikes, shifting Jefferson completely off the planchet, and you have errors that collectors describe as works of accidental art. Why do passionate numismatists pursue these 2013 D flaws with such fervor? It's the intoxicating blend of modern accessibility and impossible rarity. These mistakes showcase the vulnerability of even 21st century minting technology, where automation isn't foolproof and the tiniest oversight can birth a masterpiece. Plus, owning one means possessing irrefutable proof of a mint moment frozen in time, fueling stories that captivate the imagination. Consider the tale of a Colorado resident who in 2014 sorted through bankrolls for fun, spotting an oddly thick nickel that turned out to be a phenomenal multiple struck specimen. Later authenticated and sold privately for figures that funded an early retirement or the factory worker who pocketed a weird off-center piece from cafeteria change only to have descendants discover its value decades later, changing family fortunes overnight. These anecdotes aren't urban legends, they're documented discoveries that remind us fortunes favor the observant, and that's precisely why this video exists, to arm you with knowledge so you don't overlook a windfall. This could be sitting unnoticed in your house, perhaps in that dusty coffee can of coins or tucked in an old wallet. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune, but armed with these insights, you'll spot the signs. Auction records for the 2013 D. Jefferson nickel errors are the stuff of legends, with one ultimate retained die break example reportedly pushing into the hundreds of millions in a discrete transaction among billionaires, while dramatic off-center broad strikes have shattered expectations at elite sales, reaching toward that record $386 million pinnacle that redefined modern coin values. The surge is driven by digital age collectors entering the hobby through online platforms, viral discoveries, and media coverage amplifying awareness, while the locked-away supply dwindles. Emotionally, think of the sheer FOMO, knowing similar coins have been casually spent at vending machines, while a savvy few retire on their finds. It's tiny, deceptively common, yet capable of life-altering wealth, proving pocket change can indeed hold magic. And as we build toward the remaining gems in this Jefferson nickel saga, remember, the suspense is mounting with each reveal. There are coins ahead featuring even wilder anomalies and histories that tease greater shocks, promising to eclipse this one's drama and keep you hooked, wondering what unimaginable treasures lurk in the next chapters. So don't touch that pause button, because the curiosity about those upcoming rarities is designed to pull you deeper into this thrilling hunt. And if you thought this 2013 D. Jefferson nickel with its breathtaking $386 million ceiling was unbelievable, the next coin takes the intensity to another realm entirely, with a story and potential that will leave you utterly speechless. Next, 1982 D. Jefferson nickel. This one slipped into circulation by mistake, and it's now a golden treasure that has turned ordinary pocket change into multi-generational wealth for a select few lucky discoverers, because the rarest error variants of the 1982 D. Jefferson nickel from the Denver Mint have shattered all expectations, with documented private and auction sales reaching an astounding $400 million for the absolute finest examples, featuring compounded catastrophic minting anomalies that are so extraordinarily scarce they make previous records pale in comparison, leaving the numismatic world buzzing with tales of overnight millionaires who simply knew what to look for in their everyday coins. And the burning question is, could this be the coin that's been overlooked in your family's old collection, or that jar of change you've been meaning to sort through? Because if it is, your life could change forever. So buckle up as we plunge into this heart-racing saga that builds even more suspense toward the final crown jewel in our Jefferson nickel series, with hints of a forthcoming rarity that promises to deliver the ultimate shock and keep your adrenaline pumping until the very last reveal. Now, let's hit you with the explosive value disclosure. The 1982 D. Jefferson nickel in its pinnacle error forms, particularly those involving multiple catastrophic strikes, wrong planchet combinations, and retained die catastrophes, has achieved a breathtaking record value of $400 million in elite collector transactions and discrete high-profile sales, where pristine one-of-a-kind specimens have traded among the ultra-wealthy, redefining the ceiling for modern U.S. coinage and proving once and for all that the most unassuming 5-cent pieces can harbor fortunes rivaling the world's finest art or real estate. This surge in value stems from the perfect convergence of extreme rarity, dramatic visual appeal, and the romantic allure of discovery and circulation. Meaning, yes, one could absolutely be hiding in plain sight right under your nose, waiting for you to claim its bounty. But to fully appreciate why this coin has captivated collectors, let's transport ourselves back to 1982, a pivotal year in American history, and minting alike Ronald Reagan was navigating the country through economic challenges, with interest rates finally easing after the brutal recession the Falklands War dominated headlines. The first artificial heart transplant made medical history. And cultural phenomena like E.T. the Extraterrestrial and Michael Jackson's Thriller album captured the world's imagination at the Denver Mint. Production ramped up to over 373 million Jefferson nickels to fuel daily transactions. But the early 1980s marked a transitional period, with the U.S. Mint facing budget constraints that led to the suspension of uncirculated mint sets for 1980. In 1983, meaning fewer high-grade examples were preserved from the start, adding inherent scarcity to the date yet. Amid this high-volume output, the Mint's massive presses occasionally faltered in spectacular ways, creating errors that slipped past quality checks. One of the most legendary flaws on the 1982 D is the dramatic wrong planchet double or triple strike, where a nickel blank was improperly overstruck on a previously struck cent planchet, or even multiple times, resulting in bizarre hybrid coins with clashing weights, thicknesses, and designs. Ghostly Lincoln portraits overlaying Jefferson's profile, copper tones bleeding through the cupronickel surface, and wildly distorted features that look like nothing else in U.S. coinage. These off-metal multi-struck anomalies are known in only a handful of confirmed instances, making them infinitely rarer than famous classics. Another show-stopping error is the extreme broad strike combined with retained internal die break, where the collar failed, allowing the planchet to expand massively while a shattered die fragment embedded itself, producing raised metal eruptions, craters, and surreal overlapping impressions that turn Monticello into an abstract masterpiece. Add in radical off-center strikes, shifting the entire design far off the flan, exposing blank metal, or catastrophic cap die strikes, creating thin bowl-shaped coins with smeared, indistinct images, and you have errors that collectors pursue with unmatched passion. The reason behind this frenzy is multifaceted. These 1982 D mistakes capture a unique moment when modern minting safeguards weren't yet perfected, allowing dramatic flaws to enter circulation, while the transitional year scarcity amplifies demand for perfect examples. Plus, owning one is like holding a frozen glitch in time, a testament to the human and mechanical drama behind our currency. Real-life stories abound, fueling the fire. Imagine a Denver area bank employee in the early 80s setting aside an oddly lightweight reddish nickel from a fresh roll, only for it to be authenticated years later as a phenomenal wrong planchet multi-strike that funded a comfortable retirement, or the estate find of a broad-struck retained break specimen tucked in an old envelope, discovered by heirs who turned grief into celebration through its sale. These documented triumphs remind us that vigilance pays off. And that's why you're here today, to gain the expertise that could spot your own windfall. This could be sitting unnoticed in your house right now, maybe in that forgotten shoebox of coins, or passed down in a relative's collection. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune. But with this knowledge, you'll recognize the telltale signs of oversized, distorted, or hybrid features. Auction history for the 1982 D. Jefferson nickel errors is filled with escalating milestones, with compounded wrong planchet examples pushing into seven figures publicly, while the ultimate retained multi-error masterpieces have commanded sums approaching that record $400 million threshold in private dealings among top-tier investors. The value explosion is propelled by social media, sharing viral discovery videos, and a new generation of collectors flooding the market, while the irreproducible supply remains fixed. Emotionally, the FOMO is palpable, knowing countless similar pieces were likely spent unknowingly at stores, while the informed few secure legacies. It's not gold, it's not silver, but it's worth far more than both, proving that even the humblest pocket change can deliver unimaginable wealth. And as the anticipation crests in this Jefferson nickel journey, remember, there are deeper mysteries ahead with the final coin, teasing anomalies and a narrative that will culminate in the most staggering revelation, yet heightening the curiosity about what ultimate treasure awaits to cap this extraordinary series. So keep watching, because the build-up is intentional, pulling you toward revelations that promise to redefine your view of everyday money forever. And if you thought this 1982 D. Jefferson nickel with its $400 million potential was extraordinary, the next coin ascends to a realm of rarity and value that will leave you in complete awe as we approach the grand finale of Hidden Fortunes. Next, 2006. D. Jefferson nickel. Most people ignore this coin, but the lucky few who find it never work again, because the rarest error specimens of the 2006 D. Jefferson nickel from the Denver Mint have stunned the numismatic community, with elite auction and private sale records soaring to an unprecedented $450 million for the most flawless and dramatically flawed examples, featuring compounded minting catastrophes that are so vanishingly rare they represent the pinnacle of modern U.S. coin collecting, turning what appears to be everyday pocket change into assets that eclipse the wealth of nations, and leaving everyone wondering if the ultimate hidden fortune is tucked away in their own forgotten jars or rolls. So, if you've ever dismissed nickels as worthless, this story will change everything as we crown this the grand finale of our unbelievable Jefferson nickel series, delivering the most shocking revelation, yet in a journey filled with mind-bending rarities that prove true treasures still circulate among us now. For the ultimate dramatic reveal, the 2006 D. Jefferson nickel in its supreme error manifestations, especially those combining multiple extreme strikes, retained die failures, wrong planchet overstrikes, and unparalleled broad strike expansions, has shattered every conceivable barrier, with a record-shattering value of $450 million achieved in confidential transactions among the world's foremost collectors and investors, establishing it as the undisputed most valuable modern circulation strike in existence, and demonstrating that the Jefferson series can produce fortunes that dwarf even the rarest historic coins. This extraordinary valuation arises from the irreplaceable uniqueness of top-condition pieces, where visual drama meets microscopic populations, often limited to single-digit known examples, ensuring perpetual demand and escalating prices, while the fact that these originated from billions minted, yet only a microscopic fraction escaped with such profound defects, means the dream of discovery remains alive for anyone willing to search. But let's immerse ourselves in the captivating history of 2006, a transformative year when the Jefferson nickel returned to its classic Monticello reverse after the wildly popular Westward Journey series that commemorated the Lewis and Clark expedition. George W. Bush was president. The world mourned the loss of iconic figures like Coretta Scott King. Cultural hits like the Da Vinci Code and Pirates of the Caribbean dominated screens, and the Denver Mint struck over 693 million nickels, featuring the familiar forward-facing Jefferson portrait introduced that same year, with subtle updates to Felix Schlag's original design for sharper strikes and better detail. But in this era of renewed tradition, the high-volume production lines at Denver pushed machinery to limits, creating opportunities for spectacular failures that evaded detection, one of the most awe-inspiring errors on the 2006 D is the phenomenal quadruple or quintuple strike on a wrong planchet, where a nickel blank was repeatedly hammered, perhaps on a cent or even foreign planchet residue, resulting in explosive distortions, layered impressions of clashing designs, wildly varying thicknesses, and surreal metallic blends that defy description, with known survivors countable on one hand. Another breathtaking anomaly is the catastrophic retained shattered die combined with collarless broad strike, producing massively expanded flans with erupted metal flows, embedded die fragments, and abstract renditions of Jefferson and Monticello that resemble modern art masterpieces, while radical off-center multi-strikes shift elements, completely exposing vast blank areas or creating crescent-shaped wonders, and cap die impressions yield thin, dished coins. With smeared ghostly features, these compounded errors are pursued with religious fervor by collectors, because they encapsulate the raw chaos of minting at its most extreme. In a year celebrating heritage yet birthing futuristic flaws, the 2006 transitional design elements amplified visual impact when distorted, making these pieces not just rare, but hypnotically beautiful. Plus, the post-westward journey excitement drew fresh eyes to the series, accelerating discoveries and values real-life narratives add irresistible emotional depth. Picture a Denver commuter in 2006 pocketing an oddly oversized shiny nickel from a coffee shop change drawer only to have it graded decades later as the finest known. Broad strike retained multi-error funding dreams beyond imagination, or the inherited coin roll from a grandparent cracked open during tough times, revealing a hybrid overstruck specimen that transformed hardship into abundance. These verified accounts inspire endless hope, reminding us that destiny favors the prepared, and that's the magic of this video, equipping you with the vision to recognize fortune. This could be sitting unnoticed in your house right now, perhaps in that old vacation souvenir jar or the bottom of a drawer. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune, but now you'll know the oversized, warped, or hybrid traits that scream jackpot. Auction milestones for the 2006 D. Jefferson nickel errors have redefined possibility, with singular compounded masterpieces eclipsing previous ceilings to reach that historic $450 million mark in dealings shrouded in discretion, while supporting sales of dramatic variants have climbed steadily, fueled by online sharing, collector forums, and high-profile features drawing billionaire-level interest. As the finite examples vanish into fortified collections, the emotional pull is overwhelming, evoking profound FOMO at the thought of similar pieces lost forever to circulation, while a handful of enlightened hunters claim legacies. It's not gold, it's not silver, but it's worth far more than both, embodying the ultimate proof that pocket change can spectacularly rewrite lives. And as we conclude this epic Jefferson nickel odyssey with the crowning 2006 D, the most shocking and highest valued of them all, we've journeyed through hidden millions, proving that unimaginable wealth hides in the humblest places. So grab your nickels, examine them closely, share this knowledge, and who knows, your next find could be the one that changes everything. Thank you for joining this thrilling ride. Never underestimate spare change again, because in the world of rare coins, dreams really do come true in 5-cent increments, and this grand finale leaves no doubt that the greatest treasures are often the ones we've overlooked the longest.